It just takes you back to the era, just looking at it, right?
The first instruments that I was using were turntables and mixers.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone around the world, or around the high desert, or just around Cali, or wherever you're at, welcome. We are back, another episode of the world famous Play It Loud show, brought to you by Take That Productions. Hi-ya! I'm your host, King DT, and thanks for tuning in. Back to the Play It Loud show.
Play it loud. World famous. World famous. It's the world famous. Play it loud show. It's the world famous. Play it loud show. World famous. Play it loud show. World famous. Play it loud show. Play it loud. Play it loud. Play it loud show. Play it loud. Play it loud. Play it loud show.
That is right. If you haven't heard, it is the Play It Loud show. I have a guest today that I am so honored, so glad to have. We're about to have so much fun right now. Anyway, me and this particular guest go so far back. You know what I mean? This is an older brother of mine, older cat. Still graceful though, like fine wine, you know. Man, I used to roll with this dude and a few other music hip hop heads, man. You know, through transitions of life from going to the club scene, the promotion scene, the music scene, just the recording scene, anything to do with music, anything to do with hip hop, right? From years and years ago, all the way to 2021, still doing it, still changed with life, still giving our glory and our honor to the Most High, to a higher cause than ourselves, not making it about ourselves when it comes to this music. And I'm going to just stop and without any further delay, bring out the one and only Mr. E Vargas, baby. How's it going, man?
Good to see you,
we got to do this, man. Good to see you too.
You know it, man.
Good to see you too, my friend. How's it going?
It's going good, man.
Yeah. How's life?
Good.
How's life?
Life is good, man. Life is good. In the midst of everything, a crazy year that we've all gone through. God has been faithful, man, and in that, man, just you can't help but to just continue to thank God for the blessings.
Give us like your background, man. Your upbringing, your love of music. How did it all start? What where did you lean towards?
Yeah, man.
The whole nine.
My pops played everything. A lot of Spanish music, a lot of classic rock. Early '80s music.
Mm-hmm.
Early R&B. Funk, stuff like that. And then because my dad was always into music. Like you said, I'm an older cat, so I was around when hip hop was really starting to break out back in the early 80s, late 70s.
Yeah.
And so my pops was, going to the record stores, buying vinyl here in Victorville. He was buying records, back then, the original, first hip hop records that were being, printed.
Right.
And so at a young age, man, I was already listening to hip hop, when it was first coming out. And, I had cousins that were break dancers. And so, like, the whole hip-hop culture was just something that I was being brought up in. And so it was where I leaned towards and just really fell in love with the culture of hip-hop. Even now, it's like, as a minister, as a pastor, there's just things that this is how God created me,
Right.
and so the way that I the way that I dress, the way that I preach, the way that I minister, it still has like a hip hop element to it.
Who was like some of your bigger influences, like out of the culture?
I think as far as like MCs, the first MCs were like Run DMC,
okay,
LL Cool J, like
course.
anything that was like Def Jam at that time, Beastie Boys. That was like some of my first, hip hop MCs that I really was just like, man. And then also on the breakdancing level, you look at movies like Beat Street.
Right.
As a matter of fact, shout out to Iceberg who mentioned Beat Street on the previous episode. Beat Street had breakdancers like the New York City Breakers, Rocksteady crew.
Rocksteady crew.
So you had guys like Crazy Legs and Mr. Wave, all these guys that those were my first superheroes in a sense.
Never thought hip hop would take it this far. Like, and here we are in 2021. You know, rest in peace to Big and all that. But man, never thought hip hop would take it this far.
Yeah,
like
man.
in 2021. Like, isn't that crazy, bro?
It's crazy.
It's like it's everywhere. Like you said, you know, from the street people to the church to the soccer moms to the whoever, man. Like, it's everywhere.
Yeah, hip hop really crossed over into the mainstream. You know, mid 80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
Crossed over, and I think the world saw the value in it because, like you said earlier, it was such a connection to the people, you know, of the street. You know,
Yeah, right.
It was those that were almost outcasted or kind of forgotten. This became our music. This became our culture.
Right.
And so once the mainstream saw that it was their avenue to kind of, you know. It's all business on their end.
Exactly.
Is to bring that advertisement. They capitalized on that.
Right.
But it just shows how rich that culture is.
Exactly.
Those sounds that come from the hip hop culture really have an opportunity to reach people all over the world. You know,
It's so crazy, man.
yeah.
Isn't that so crazy? And then it's like that is American music. Like when you think of when you think of classical music, all the classical music comes from like Germany or Italy with the Mozarts and the Beethovens and the Vivaldis and Paninis and all them, right? And then when you think of classical music in America, you know, we had what? We had jazz.
Yeah.
You know, again, that was really all ran and originated from black people, from black and brown people with the Afro-Cubano sound, right? And then so now we fast forward to the late 70s, early 80s. We have another American music. Like, you know, I like the history of it. It's a beautiful thing how, yeah, you have the street element and crime that gets involved with stuff, but you have that in anything, right? So people don't, we let's not focus on that in hip hop, right? Let's focus on how hip hop was the youth. Let's focus on hip hop, our people, literally, black and brown people, like gave, like, you know, DJ Kool Herc is the father of it all. But if you look at the Bronx back in that time, all the Puerto Rican, all black, all break dancer, like you said, right? It was our stuff. It was all from the youth. It was all from the street. And when you think about it, Jesus was all about the street people. He was all about the common people, the lower income people. Like his movement was like the youth and you know, the ethnic people. How do you look at as far as the religious, like, you know, I don't like saying the religious too much, but just as far as like you know, faith-based Christian, all the churches, whatever the denomination or whatnot, how is that, like, that you've personally seen, how is that affecting the churches and whatnot?
What we should be doing is doing what the Bible tells us to do, and that's be the light of the world. Love God with all of our heart, mind, and strength, and love our neighbor as ourselves. If we did those things, I mean, there'd be a lot of issues.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Every guest that we have brings their own personal life. Every guest that we have brings their own, what do you want to call it? I guess testimony. They bring their own background, you know what I mean? And we never discriminate on anyone. Hit us up, takeThatProductions@gmail.com if you have any guests in mind, any musicians that you know of, any MCs, any violinists, any celloists, whoever it is. We have them on the Play It Loud show. What did you bring with us today?
Yeah, man. So
we're having some show and tell,
yes,
like
sir.
elementary school.
I saw the episode with Iceberg, and let me just give a shout out to Iceberg. Iceberg's the big homie who's been doing this for a long time.
For a minute, bro.
He's been doing music here in our community. In the High Desert 760 for a minute. I've been focused more on ministry, you know, becoming a pastor and everything like that. So I kind of stepped away from being involved in the music scene a while ago, but Iceberg's been in it, you know what I'm saying? And so he's worked with artists. He's still working with artists. So big shout out to Iceberg for putting it down for the 760. Like I was saying, my dad, he loved buying vinyl. He loved all, you know, music. And there was a record store that used to be on 7th Street and Lorraine Drive. It's actually where the Pet Boys is at now. There used to be a shopping center in there.
Wow, really?
Yeah, before Pet
right?
Boys. Yeah, there was a shopping center. It was a shopping mall. And we had Cassandra Records. Like I was saying, man, one of my first favorite MCs, LL Cool J, man. And this is original LL Cool J.
LL Cool J is hard as
That's right. Can't live without my radio. Def Jam. This you know, I'll hold off on these ones because this is probably
that right there, bro. That right there is
this is another LL Cool J. This is actually the full length album. that LL Cool J
Damn,
had.
look at the cover. Hold it up to the camera.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at the cover. That is like authentic. That's how you know that this person has owned this for,
Yeah, this
for
is
many years.
Yeah, man, this is original. I have a boombox like this that I still have, you know, but you just like this is.
It just takes you back to
bro,
the era,
for
just looking
sure,
at it, right?
bro, for
and
sure.
then you just like visualize, like you get the sound in your head
man,
also by
for
looking at
sure.
it.
Run DMC, you gotta be down with the king. Another hip hop movie, Crush Groove, that it's almost like the story of Def Jam Records. That's basically what it's based on. It's not an actual story of Def Jam, but it really kind of revolves around that story, how Def Jam started. And so this is a classic hip hop movie right here. West Coast, California, we had hip hop, but we eventually started to develop our own style of hip hop.
Exactly.
We brought our own flavor to hip hop.
Because there was already a whole sound already before, like hip hop. There was already like the whole other sound in Cali on the West.
Yeah, I mean, we're big on, like, California was big on like funk music.
Yeah.
You know, we like George Clinton. We like
Zapp and
Parliament,
Roger.
Zapp and Roger.
Yeah, Parliament, yeah.
Those were like more of a West Coast sound. And so when we started to get more into the hip hop, we started to incorporate those sounds. So you have people like Egyptian Lover, LA Dream Team, Ronnie Joe Cooley, the godfathers of gangster rap, NWA. And so this is an original NWA record right here that I have. Panic Zone, Dope Man.
That was like NWA and the Posse or something, wasn't it? That one?
You know what? They were like an overall crew. They had all different kinds of guys.
That's
But
right.
of course, you have your four that were like the main standouts. This is another NWA. This is actually the single for Gangsta Gangsta. This is before NWA. You had World Class Wrecking Crew with Dr. Dre.
And Yella, too.
And
look.
Yella, yeah. So, this was like, I mean, hip-hop
I love it.
was just... It was just, like I said, it was the culture that I was brought up in.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what I gravitated towards as far as my expression. Newer stuff that I listen to now, I listen to a lot of Christian hip-hop artists. So, of course, you got to go with your main guys, Lecrae, Andy Mineo, Social Club Misfits, Eshawn Burgundy, Propaganda. These are guys that are like the main guys of Christian hip-hop that are out right now. What Up RG, 1K Few,
I listened to a few of his What Up RG. He's young,
he's youngster,
too. He's like 18 or something.
He's a youngster, and he was somebody that he had put out a photo when he first got signed to Reach Records, which is Lecrae's label. When he got signed, he had put out this photo of him as a kid taking a picture with Lecrae. Grape Tree Records, Lil Rascal, Prime Minister, Gospel Gangsters,
taking it back,
T-Bone.
baby.
You can go back to that era, and there's always been good Christian hip hop.
Yeah.
But just like we see, like with the hip hop community, there was just this point where it started to be a little bit more mainstream, a little bit more accepted, and that's where you get like your Lecrae's, your Andy Mineo's, Social Club Misfits, who they're the ones who really pushed the hip hop culture into the Christian music scene.
Right.
Whatever my son's listening to. My son is 15 years old. He's into the hip hop culture. He freestyles. He's making beats. When he's listening stuff or he wants to put something on, I listen to it and just make sure I stay in tune with the streets,
what the youngsters are into, man. When you mention Christian hip hop or gospel hip hop, it already has this connotation, right? Where it's like, oh, it's not for me, or you always think like, Jesus, be holy, yeah, Jesus, right? And not to disrespect or downplay anyone, and it's like no one really they don't really make music like that,
right.
And it's like, so I look at it as a lyrical level, like what this person is saying lyrically, like putting like double entendres together and like chopping up your syllables and all the metaphors and similes. Yeah. That's one of the beautiful things I like about it too, as far as like if I mention a lyricist, if I mention like Eminem or Jadakiss or Redman or somebody, then I can also throw in Propaganda or Eshawn Burgundy as far as lyrical. Like all day long. Give me some of your musical. You give us your hip hop influences. Give us some of your musical. Like for me, like I don't even want to begin because a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire, you know,
Yeah.
Rick James,
Yeah.
Zapp and Roger, part
Yeah.
like I literally grew up Santana.
Yeah.
So who was your musical of
Yeah.
any genre that are your big influences?
Well, you mentioned a couple of them. Santana,
Yeah.
Carlos Santana was
Yeah, that's
one of
the OG,
probably
man.
the biggest, the most heard, one of the most heard in my house.
Okay.
Carlos Santana, all the different genres from
All of
rock to Spanish to
Yeah.
you know, just different kind of music.
funk. He had that funk too, man, all
everything,
day.
man. So Santana, Celia Cruz, Tito Puente.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you know you can't go anywhere without acknowledging Vicente Fernandez. I grew up hearing everything, you know, and I really appreciate my pops for. My dad just loved music, and so we heard it all. You know, Led Zeppelin, the Eagles. You know,
Eagles, cold.
Michael Jackson. You know, we heard it all growing up.
And eclectic, man.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. With that being said, I love it. Oh, so one more thing while I'm getting all these figured out. How old were you when you started playing instruments? Like, what instruments do you play? Let the people know. Those of us that, man, this dude plays like 5 instruments. Any given moment, he'll just jump on anything, bro. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot you could play. Oh yeah, I forgot you could play that. Oh, you can play that. How'd that all start for you?
Well, again, the hip hop thing was just big for me. So what I used to do is I would take. We had small tape decks, small tape recorders, and I would just record things off of. You know, off TV, my cartoons, TV shows, commercials. I would record sounds and I would just combine them. Maybe some might not consider it an instrument, but I think the first instruments that I was using were turntables and mixers.
Yeah.
And were the first thing. My parents, you know, took me to piano lessons and I started playing the drums when I was like 8 or 9. And just kept doing that, you know, just playing. I didn't really play piano as much growing up. I played drums, you know, growing up, DJing, you know, started DJing parties and stuff when I was like 11, 12, you know, so that I just been playing music, you know, here in the community, you know, the Younger Half, which is one of the biggest bands that come out of our community, Latin Express. You know, we have people like Serlatio Quinlan, you know, Juan Rios, you know, guys that some of the top musicians that we'd ever seen right here in our own backyard. Shout out to Serlatio, Juan,
Juanito.
Matt Godina, JB, you know, John Hollinsworth. I mean, there's
Big
a
John,
lot.
what's up?
There's a lot of musicians. My boy Richie Rich. You know, there's a lot of musicians that we were around, you know, our age that were playing, and they're all my influences. Daniel York that plays with me now. You know, of course, everybody on you know, my worship team. Shout out to Shreddy Eddie and Raymond Gomez and his boys, and you know, there's just a lot of musicians that are here in our community that are just dope.
Some people are harder than others to get in touch with, but now I'm starting to reach out more and more. So as always, leave a comment in the comment section. Give us your influences of hip hop. Give us your people that you know that inspire you. Any local people, especially in the 760. But of course, you already know we don't limit it there. Anybody in the 909, the 951, the 626, the 310, 323, all Southern Cali, baby. You know, everybody is welcome. Just being around and seeing so much talent, so much greatness. I love it. So yeah, take that productions at Gmail.
I want to give one more shout out.
Go ahead.
I can't forget this person because I'll hear it. I want to give a shout out to my brother Vinny. Who,
hey, he's cold too, bro.
Bro. I think because he's younger, you know, so he was a lot younger when we were doing our music thing, but he definitely is in my opinion, one of the top musicians up here, creatives, artist, writer, singer, even got a little bit of a flow.
Yeah, he does have vocals,
yeah,
and he was on the guitar and everything.
Hey,
so what's up, baby? It's been a minute.
A vinyl collector himself, and so shout out to my brother Vinny, Silver Slums. Check him out on iTunes. So I got to
get him on there too. Hey, real talk, man. See you, and then you just saying all this stuff. I'm like, since I'm doing it slowly, bringing it back. I'm like, man, I forgot this person and that person and that person. Yeah. So you know, again, leave a comment, please. Send an email. Follow us at Take That Pro on Instagram and Twitter. Take That Productions on Facebook. You know, share, follow, subscribe, do all that. This is all about. It's really not about me, seriously. You know, I'm the host, and there'll be episodes where I'm just doing different topics, but it's really the spotlight on the guests, the spotlight on the musicians. We're just gonna freestyle like we do. Go through some of these real quick. So yeah, I'll do something boom bapish, and then this should be right here. Boom, there it is. Started too early. So now, some claps in there, then I'll just stop. So let me see. Good. And then, yeah, we'll just leave it right there, man. Now we'll do the old switcheroo.
Like the RZA, some Wu-Tang.
Yeah, man. Hey. Let's do it again. All right. Nice.
Yeah, E Vargas, Pastor E Vargas, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the whole EL fam, DJ Jewels, Lorenzo, Tommy Santana, you know what I'm saying? JB, shout out to the officialists, you know, shout out to Danny Boy Records, shout out to the Royal Fam, shout out to everyone out there doing a big 760 hip hop. Here we go. Let's see if I still got it, man. It's been a minute. Yeah. Yo, hey, yo, it's to play it loud. I'll say it then and I'll say it now.
Wow.
E Vargas, I keep my heart looking at the one who sits above the clouds. And I ain't tripping. Yeah, I just continue to keep giving my praise and giving my thanks. This is how I do it every single day. You can take it to the bank. 760, that's all I know. Yeah, I'm straight from the desert. Always been, always will be. Yeah, see me on Sunday. That's where you can feel me, see me, and hear me. Preach the gospel, unstoppable. With God, all things are possible. Yeah. Shout out to King D. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much, man. That's it. That's all I got in me. You know, I'm preaching sermons now. I can't hit it with the freestyle like I used to. But you know,
it's all good. That's why we pick it up for him. Hey, this is so dope. The musical forum.
Yeah.
Bringing everybody come perform, do your